I am a staff of 5 on that team, and specifically what I do with state and local leagues is we do a lot of different work there, but one of the projects that I have is to help leagues onboard and get started on League in Action. So for folks who have never heard of it, and it's perfectly fine if you never heard of it, League in Action is our official branded digital organizing platform. So essentially what that means is for the first time ever, LWV, not just like LWVUS, but state and local leagues, have an actual app where anyone who believes in our mission and values can get directly plugged into us. We have a traditional federated model that has like a membership system, and that's great. But back before the pandemic, as the department was getting started, we knew there was a subset of people in our community that obviously cares about our mission, is somewhat aware of what's going on. Voters are obviously voting every year and are working with the league to get more information or get registered. But there's always like that somewhat gap. The folks who are like kind of interested, want more information, but they're not ready to be signed up to be members, and that's perfectly okay. So what we decided to do is to invest in a platform where we can like be able to start creating those relationships with our community, with voters that we're working with. We're a 103-year-old grassroots organization. Like that's who we are to our core, like full through and through. What we've always been doing is organizing in our local communities at the state level, at the federal level. That's what we've been doing for 100 years. And as things have changed throughout how communities have come together, obviously the fact that we're on a Zoom call now, and I'm coming in from Texas, like clearly we're coming together as a league community differently. Like that's just like how things are just like naturally evolving. And also communities now you can have like subgroups on like TikTok and like social, and just like things are obviously like everyone's taking information in differently, everyone's interacting with folks differently. So that is what we knew, that we needed to invest in that type of infrastructure to help specifically local leagues build those connections. Again, 99.9% of local leagues and state leagues are 100% volunteer led. And that's amazing. Like that just shows the power and the capacity that we have as an organization. But following up with people, doing those one-on-ones, calling, making sure that people are connected into the work that we're doing, that can be a full-time job. We obviously have our own lives. We have work that we're moving. So this is our attempt to be able to create a space for that individual who believes in our mission and values, maybe needs more information, wants to get plugged in. And again, like all the work that we're working on impacts our entire community. It's not just like for certain individuals. So today I'm going to actually show you a kind of like a presentation. So one of the first things that we're going to get started today is for all of us to become supporters of the League of Women Voters of Kansas City account. So shout out to your local league that you all have already started this account. Now, we're going to practice some actions together. So just a little bit more context. I've been working with local leagues and state leagues since 2020 on this platform. So we rolled it out back in June of 2020. So I have done this conversation. I have been with local leagues digitally and in person doing this specific project. A lot of local leagues use their League in Action for lots of different things. Obviously, your league is going to be using it for your issues that you're working on. So I already heard election related, voter registration, like, you all are this is going to reflect the programs and the work that you all are doing. The actions that are set up on this account right now are just practice actions. So don't worry too much about the nitty gritty details of it. We're going to practice right now. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. I'm actually going to share like a click through. Actually, no, I'll share my real phone. Again, I'll just screen share my phone so you guys can see what it is. And then I'll show you more of a click-through demo of how to practice and send out messages. But ultimately, what we're doing here is, as league members, obviously we're very connected. We're here on a Saturday morning. Some of the actions that are going to be on there for you are probably not for you. They're probably for another person who needs to make a voting plan or needs to verify their voter registration status. Maybe you've already done that, because ultimately each supporter gets to pick and choose which action to take. So If you, before we get started, feel free to grab your cell phone. If you want to do the cell phone version, I highly recommend the app version. I've worked with league members where once you get it set up, you don't ever have to set it up again. It's always just going to be on your phone. So grab your cell phone. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we can go and get started. So let me make sure I have, okay. Let's go ahead and share screen. I know I can do this. I'm just waiting for it. Okay, perfect. Okay. And if you can help me out by reading out the questions in the chat, that would be great because I can't see the chat right now. Okay, so obviously everyone probably has a different setup than mine. Like this is my phone that you're seeing right here. So this is the app that we're going to be looking into. So as y'all see, it's named League in Action right there. If you do not have it already, just go to your app store. So again, it looks different if you have an Android, it looks different if it has a phone. Clearly mine looks different. All you'll have to do is go to the App Store, press search, and just go ahead and press League in Action. Today we're doing it this way. There's usually a QR code, but we're on a screen. Kind of sometimes hard to look at that. So this is what we're looking for. This is what we are trying to find in the App Store. So I want to take a minute while you guys are doing that part right there. Does anyone not see it in the App Store? Hey, and feel free to unmute yourself. We're a small group, so we can just shout it out. I know someone's trying to come off mute. I see you waving. I just can't see your full name, so I can't. Okay.
And I
So,
don't see.
and again, no worries if you do not see this. Like I will be around. I will also send out like if you do not want to do it live right now, like we encourage you to do it. But if you're somebody who wants to go step by step from like a PDF document, we have one of those as well. So don't like I just want you guys to see it so you guys can start interacting with it, answer questions, because I know we all are learning it differently. So I already have the app, so it's just going to tell me to open it. But if you don't, just go ahead and click onto it and download it. And when you download it, this is usually the first page you're going to see right here.
So one of the questions is, are we looking for LWV US or are we looking for Missouri specific? So the app itself is just LWV US. Within that app, there are lots of local apps or local leagues as well as state leagues.
Yeah, so this isn't like great question. So when you go to here, you don't automatically follow the LWVUS account. Like you can, we encourage you, but this is ultimately, this app obviously has lots of local leagues. Everybody does, depending on what league you're in, they do your own. So like the US is there as well. So today we're just gonna go ahead and type in LWV. Your account is named LWVKC. And if we can always change like the name, maybe put the full name there, but right now you'll just go ahead and type in LWVKC because we are going to follow your local league today. See, I'm not following your league right now, and some of you already started following it. So all you'll do is go ahead and create join. I already have an account, so obviously I don't have to sign in. If you have not, okay, I'll take a step back. If you have not signed in yet, it's going to ask you to make an account. Now, again, I'll send out a document so you can see it, but you are looking for the word League in Action. That is the name of the title. So type this into your search bar in your app store. And this is the account that we're gonna look for. You're looking for LWVKC. And again, we are doing this right here like this because we're all together. Obviously, there's lots of different ways to get on League in Action, but we're just doing it this way right now.
I was able to look it up just by typing Kansas City. It came up with our league. So
yeah, because it honestly also pulls it up by location. So if you are like, let's say for example, the Kentucky State League and all the local leagues have their account. So you don't even sometimes have to even write their full name. If you just write the state, it will pop up as well. There's not that many Missouri ones, so it's good. So this is actually a great question. Pat, thank you for asking that question. When you sign up to make an account, you are signing up as you as a person. You are not signing up as League of Women Voters of Kansas City member. You're signing up, like for me, I signed up as Luana Chaires, like this is your supporter account. The same way that you make an account like for your Facebook or your Amazon shopping, like this is you. No worries, you're not giving everyone your information. It's just for you to sign up to be a supporter here. I'm actually going to show you guys a click-through demo of what it looks like, but this is what generally, so this is like a practice action that we're going to take right now. So these are the actions that are available for you to interact with. But before I do that, I'm going to switch over. And again, no worries if you're not here yet. And also, fun fact, if you ever want to go back to the home page, just click those three little dots on the right-hand side and go to home. I clearly follow a lot of local leagues. So I don't just follow your local league. I follow like New Mexico, Austin, like Kentucky, like these are their actions. You as a supporter can follow multiple leagues if you want. So Kansas City, I know your state league is working on theirs. Probably you don't have to follow them right now because I don't think they have anything, but LWVUS, like you can go ahead and start doing that. One thing I should mention, when you were downloading your app, it's going to ask, do I allow notification from Outreach Circle? If you hear that term out there, that's just a technology we use. This platform is actually called Outreach Circle, but we knew our branding was the best for our supporters, our members, our community. So we just put a very nice sticker on it. So that's why it's called League in Action. So if it tells you like, hey, allow notifications from Outreach Circle or League in Action, that's not going to be notifications like from LWVUS or the company. That's specifically for this, like your account that you're following, like League of Women Voters of Kansas City, to send you push notifications. And if folks have not seen a push notification is literally these are push notifications. Like when you click on something, like it's there. So there you go. Like just kind of keep that in mind that push notifications just pop up on your phone. It'll have like LWV next to it. You can click on it. So again, we just have our own app now. This is available to all of us. So I'm going to switch over to a presentation screen so I can show you really what makes it shine of League in Action. Again, each supporter gets to pick and choose and interact with content that they want to. So here, like I can take this action. Everything that's written here in this is like this little box. So like it just takes one personal reminder. This little like blurb here. That's all what's asking me. These actions are all designed for me to do something with this information. So like for a lobby day, they just had, so in Kentucky, I just came back from Kentucky. They had their in-person lobby day at League Day. And one of the actions that they created for the folks who participated in lobby day was like, let us know how we did. So all you have to do to take an action is actually click on the action itself. So I went to the feedback form for lobby day. I'll go ahead and fill it out. And I didn't complete that lobby. I didn't do that right now, but I get to pick and choose. So as we're thinking about this, you get to decide what you're going to interact with. Your local league leadership and the admins for it are all going to be doing their own actions. So, but the big thing that the reason why we have decided to adopt this tool, because at the end of the day, it's just a tool. It's just a platform. Like there's a lot of power to it, but what specifically why we decided to invest into this platform is the relational organizing and outreach that supporters can do to their friends and family. So yes, like look at that. We have so many supporters. So one of the things that the league is extremely powerful in is our people power. The fact that we are, so we're one of the few like national organizations with a federated model who's been around for a very long time. We do not just do work at the national level, at the state level, but at the local level in all 50 states. So we are extremely involved in our community, because when we are organized in our community, it's not just hypothetically, this is for our neighborhood, our parks, our representation. So one thing that we know about league members and about folks who are committed to this movement is that we are not just going to not talk about it with our friends and family. Like we obviously want to get more people involved, get more information out there. So one of the things that separates League in Action is that we can start actually sending out information to our friends and family however we choose. I'm going to show it through here, and then I'll show you the fake demo so I can show you all the steps. But let's this action right here is asking me, let me put a typo in it, but share vote 411 with 5 of my friends. I know you all have I think your general local election happening like April 2nd. Clearly, like especially after like Super Tuesday, folks are gonna be like, oh, we have nothing else coming up. No, you guys have an actual local election on April 2nd. So let's send out like an election reminder. Again, you get to pick and choose. So all you would get to do is you just click on it, and you get to choose how you want to reach out to your friends and family. Again, you get to decide this as a supporter. Anyone can take this action. The 2 options that are set up for this action is email and text. Another third option that normally exists is share to any app. So if there are friends or family that you talk through like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Twitter, like again, you can also do that. As you all are probably already seeing, this is extremely customizable for whoever wants to do this. However we reach out. So let's start off with like email. When you click on email, this message has already been written for you. It's like a pre-made template message your admin would have made for you. You are more than welcome to customize this message. Like this is very, very generic. And we want you to customize it, because ultimately when you send out this message out to your friends and family, it's not going to be coming from LWV Kansas City or LWV US. It's literally going to be coming you and to your friend John or your friend Andre. It's you reaching out to people. So as a supporter, when you're taking these actions, people don't even know you're using League in Action. They just know, hey, my friend's reaching out to me about this issue. But Anne, I saw your hand up.
Yeah. Yeah, can you back up just a tiny bit and tell us again where we find this action?
Yeah, that's a good one. So when you started following Kansas City, so when you started following it and you joined and you made a supporter account, it pops up. So now that you are a supporter of Kansas City, you will see this action. If you do not see this action, that means you haven't become a supporter yet of Kansas City.
I gotcha.
And if you're still like, I'm not there yet, Luana, I haven't fully started. I know some of you already became supporters, because in real time, Anne can actually see that all of y'all became supporters. We get to see who signed up to follow this account. So if you are missing anything right now, no worries, but this is the action that you'll be seeing. I'm going to go through the steps of it right now, just to kind of give you the gist. There's so many things that you can do on here, but I like to demonstrate this one because I think this is the bread and butter of League in Action. So no worries if you're not at the exact same step. Everyone's going to look different. I just want you guys to just see it. So I'm going to send this. Let's pretend I live in Kansas City with you all, and I'm going to email my friends about this. I'll go ahead and click, the personalized message. If you wanted to edit it, you'll just go to the bottom and click edit. I do not actually want to edit this message. I'm good. I can even send a preview of this message to me if I wanted to see what it looks like, but I don't have to. So go ahead and press done. I'm good with the message. This is where we can add contacts. I clearly have already added contacts. Now, privacy is very important to us. So when I added these 367 contacts, again, I can always add more from like my Outlook, my phone, my Google, whatever I prefer. I am not giving it to and I'm not giving it to the League of Women Voters of Kansas City. I'm not giving it to like LWVUS or even Outreach Circle, the company itself. When you add these contacts here, no one's going to see your cousin's email or your best friend's phone number. It's just for you to do your outreach. So I already added some. I can always add more. So like if I wanted to add some for my phone, I'll just go ahead, click allow. I already added them, so they're already all here. These are my real friends and family. Ignore the bad spelling on some of them. But these are like my folks. So I added the contacts. Some folks generally tell me like, Luana, I already have like, I have like 3,000 people on like my Google. Should I add all of those? Trust me, clearly y'all have already seen like, I already have 559 people. I am not going to send an email out to 559 people. I can if I wanted to, but that's not what I'm doing. So I always just recommend just dump your contacts in. Again, no one's gonna see it. It makes it easier for you. Like I had a league member who told me like my plumber is on like my Google contact. Do I have to worry about that? No, you're good. Just add them. Again, you can always delete them if you didn't want to, but go ahead and press done. Then we can start building out our email list. So these are all my friends and family that I have their email for. So clearly I do not want to send it out to all these people. These are like real people. These are like actually my friends and family. So there's like one person I'm gonna actually like reach out to. I'm gonna use my mother as an example because she won't get mad at me if I send her an email. So I can go ahead and click just on my mom's name. And I can go ahead and go press back. And again, I already clicked her. I can choose as many or as little people as I want. I can just keep on going, but I just clicked on her. If I send out one email, 20 emails, 30 emails, it's not going to be like in a group email. It can go one by one. So I have one, I clicked on one, sent it to my mom. It's gonna be so funny. I'm gonna get a message from her like, I'm not in Missouri. So I'm gonna give it to her and I'll send this email. So all I do is just click send. So when she gets this email, when she gets these emails, she's not going to see it that I sent it from League in Action or Kansas City. She's just going to see my name in the line coming in, and she's going to be like, "Oh, Luana sent me an email about this upcoming election." I'm clearly going to tell her this as an example because we don't live in Missouri. But I do this for like, again, I live in Texas. We also have a primary coming up. We also have local elections coming up. So that's it. So on the you as a supporter can pick and choose. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that and start sending it out. Same concept for a text message. Oh, and also the best part, when your local league is doing this or other folks follow the league and they're sending it out. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Kelly said, do I have to add their name in the beginning or end? You do not have to. So the way that email was set up, it already had like insert recipient first name. You're more than welcome to change it. So like when you're editing the message, but you don't have to, like the admin already did it for you. Sometimes it won't be there, sometimes it will be there, but you're just looking at it. Again, the way I talk to my friends and family, I probably would have just shared this. And so, and again, if I ever want to go back and send out more emails, I can just keep on going and just click on it. This is really helpful. I've seen leagues do this for invites to candidate forums. Again, more people are more likely to come to an event if they were personally asked by somebody that they know. But there are some people you do not email all the time. You probably send them a quick text message. So you can go ahead and do the text message as well. Again, this is a sample. You don't have to actually send this out. Maybe send it to your husband or your friend. I'm using my mom as a way to just practice. So again, I can always edit the message, make it to my voice. I already added my contacts from earlier. I don't have to add more. Press done. And I start sending a text message. So I'm going to send this actually to my husband because I know he won't be annoyed with me. So I'll just go ahead and press send to him. It'll actually pop it up and I'll bring it up from the last like conversation that we had. and then I'm done. So again, this message is not going to be coming from like a, so I can continue to send text messages, don't have to. If we are sending this out, keep in mind that when they get this text message, it's not going to come from a random 7730 number. It's going to come from your phone number. So again, people are going to obviously trust this more. It's not spam. It's people reaching out to their friends and family. And again, all of us on this call, as league members, we care about this mission. We want to talk to more people about the work that we do. So clearly, we're probably going to be a little bit more active about this. But what's really important about this platform is other folks who are like, who are getting involved into our league and maybe are not entirely sure they want to be league members, they have their own friends and family who probably have never heard of the league. So again, we get to build out trusted messengers in our community about the work that we're doing, especially with the rise of misinformation, disinformation. Like, people are going to trust people they know. I know there's questions in the chat, so I'm looking at that.
So the question is there a way to import the contact list from your phone?
Yes. So when you are here, let me go back to this one. You can just right here, this little red one, add from phone, go ahead and click on it. These are from my phone. I already did it, so that's why it looks different. But yeah, so you can, this is where you get to choose from your phone. There are some times where you can just even add a contact specifically. You don't have to import the entire file. So if you wanted to add it directly, like if you knew the person's information, you can do that. Again, most leagues don't do that because it's a lot of manual input. Again, even if you had all these folks on here, you could just like delete it if you didn't want them on there. No one's going to see this. So yeah, how do you delete imports of contacts? That little trash can to the right of it. There you go. Is there a mechanism to invite people, non-members, to download? Yeah, so the same way that you guys just went to the App Store and downloaded the League in Action, they can do the same thing. Like, this is not like a members only thing. To be honest, most local leagues do not even use, like, their members are on it, but like it's meant for other people. So like your friend, the coffee barista that you see from time to time, and they see your league shirt, like anyone can go to the App Store and follow Kansas City. So please invite as many people as you can.
And the first action that we created that we haven't made live yet is actually an invitation that you can send out to your friends to join League in Action.
Yeah. And right now, you don't have to like invite all those folks right now. Like, there's not like tons of actions. We're going to be working on that. Like, look at that. We have like more than 30 people. We had 8. Now we have like up to 30 folks. So I know you guys have made these accounts. So these are all practice ones here. They're live. You can like, so not every single action is going to be sharing. Like, sometimes it's going to be an action alert. So this is an example that you can do right now and fill out the action alert if you wanted to. And then sometimes they'll ask you like, hey, you finished the action alert. Do you want to share that with your friends and family? Again, you can also do that depending how the admin set it up. It's like your own little, like your own world, your own pick and choose.
Yeah,
So
Nancy.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nancy asked, is there just one list? Some friends might be in different places with different local elections.
That's actually a great question. So when the admins build out these actions, they are obviously, so some of y'all will probably be an admin. I know Anne's going to be an admin on this. When she's creating these actions, she's probably going to have to take all that into consideration. Some are going to be very tailored to Kansas City because obviously that's what you guys are working on. But there are just like general other actions of like, anyone can go to Vote for 1-1 and make their voting plan and check out what's on their like local elections list. So that's a good idea to tell Anne, like, hey, we should have a general get out the vote action so I can send it out to my friends in a different part of the state, or I have friends in Texas or Florida. Again, this is how you will go ahead and see this. So how do you see this using it different than Facebook? So that's actually a good question. So Peg, so like, how is this different than communication platforms or social media platforms that we have? So they can, so there are actions that you can like send it out to your like, you can share something on Facebook or Twitter. But the reason why specifically we are doing this as an organization is on social media platforms, on even your communication platforms, your first, let's start off with the communication platform. So like your newsletter, your stuff like that. I have to like actively like know you already. If I didn't like, again, newsletters are usually, in our experience, with somebody who's like already dedicated to like the league, who wants to know more. So it's a different like level of commitment sometimes to again, the way that we have seen things go down is that like for me to sign for a newsletter, I ultimately like would want to sign up for a newsletter because I already know your organization. I want to learn more. The way leagues have talked about League in Action with the folks that they're working with is that we can send election reminders through this, so like push notifications. So there's more bells and whistles to this for a person. Again, if it's not something you would do, that's fine. Probably wasn't meant for you. Another thing to keep in mind is when you are on your social media platforms, you're also fighting against algorithms. So I follow a lot of leagues on social media. I follow them on Twitter or Facebook, on Instagram. But if I don't interact with it, I'm not going to see your story. So as you guys know, it's a very specific strategy to make sure you're at the top of somebody's news feed, especially if you're working through it. It's not always the best place. And ultimately, not everyone's on every social media platform. I have friends, I'm under the age of 30. I have Facebook because I use it because of the league. I don't actually personally use Facebook myself. I have a 17-year-old sister. I have a 21-year-old sister. I don't even think they have Facebook accounts. So although this tool isn't meant to replace your other communication platforms, please keep doing that. This tool is really designed for that third person that we were talking about, the folks who are like, we're ultimately just trying to be more accessible to people. So this is, again, us going into that. Sandy actually asked another great question. So like, can anyone download this app and create myth and disinformation? Another thing to keep in mind, when that person sends that message, it's coming from them. It's not coming officially from the League of Women Voters of Kansas City. Also, arguably, anyone can say myth and disinformation and say they're on the behalf of the league. So that problem already exists right now, if you're kind of really thinking about it. But again, when folks send this information to friends and family, whoever they choose to do so, it's coming from their email. It's coming from their phone number. So, keep that in mind. So yeah, let me keep on looking. So again, anyone in your community can follow the League of Women Voters of Kansas City on League in Action. If they don't even live in your area, let's say they live in the Austin area, like I'm in Texas, I live in Austin. If you had someone you knew in Austin, they could go ahead and go follow the Austin League on League in Action. Again, this is just another way for us to interact, not fight against algorithms, have a place for these people. Because ultimately what League in Action is different, and this is more for the admin side, but like, again, we're all supporters here, is that this is a place for people who want to get connected, however you talk about it with people in your community, they can just go here. As we try to make this easier, there's a reason why every restaurant, every business, everything has an app, because you can go directly there to get the information you want. Even though not everyone's going to use the app, some people will, especially changing on demographics, they'll go ahead and use it. So again, if it's not something that you're going to look at and you're like, oh, I need to actually do this action because I need it, great, that action wasn't for you. And if you have ideas of actions, you're like, hey, it would be really great, the upcoming candidate forum RSVP link should be on there, then let your admins know. Although this tool is for all work. So the leagues that have really been successful using League in Action, creating a supporter, like getting like more folks on their app, and you'll start seeing it. So like even like let me just show y'all like Lexington. Lexington's a good example of how they do it at the local level. I follow them already. This is 247 people in their community. Like, it's not other people, these are not league members. These are people who obviously care about this work and look at it like this is their page. Same thing like for North Dakota. And again, let me pull that up. Somebody get the right full name. they do a lot of great work on here, and they share it. So ultimately, like, it's for folks to get connected deeper. On the back end, your admins, your league can actually see, like, hey, like, this supporter, Luana, she takes every single action. She sends it out to her friends and family. Like, that is great. Now, the next step in that is, like, we should invite her to come to an in-person event with us. Clearly, she's really caring about it. This is not meant for folks just to stay on here. It's an organizing platform at the end of the day. So I can see all the supporters who are super engaged, or folks who I can tailor content for them. And I can go ahead and be like, go ahead and give Luana a call. Like, when she signed up, the phone number is there. I can go ahead and give her a call. I'm like, hey, we're having this event. I really think you would be interested in it. So again, we're moving these folks, like, up this, like, ladder of engagement, like getting slightly involved, taking these smaller actions, because again, like, coming back from a league perspective, the reason why we're trying to create different avenues of engagement with the league is that we're trying to build out our pipeline of volunteers. How many of you are probably wearing multiple hats in your local league? You're probably the voter services person, you're maybe the communication person. Like, we need to build out our bench. And it's not the fact that people don't care about these issues or people don't, it's just that when there's a lot of things going on, especially with younger demographics, like, I do this full time for a living, and I still have to make time and make sure that I'm volunteering with my own local league, that I'm still doing my work, but I also have a billion other things to do. So we're trying to make this easy for folks to get involved. Sometimes not everyone's going to want to be a member. Maybe one person has an hour a week to give you. They're like, hey, I know I care about this, but I work full time. I have 2 kids. I know I have some friends who have very small kids right now. I'm a league member. I work for the league, and I cannot convince them to be a league member, because it's like, absolutely not. Like, I have friends who have, like, small children. But you know what they can do with me? They follow the League of Women Voters US. They'll join and send out election reminders to their friends and family. They'll join my text banks when I organize them. Like, they still pop in and help me, and it's extremely powerful for them to do that. And it's very needed, especially when they're reaching out to people that I have no idea who they are. They probably don't even know about the league. So again, we're trying to maximize the work and the reach in our community. Okay. Okay, so again, this is up to you. You get to pick and choose. Like, no one's gonna force you to do anything with this. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing so I can see all y'all's faces. But this is a platform that we're gonna have available to everyone. We wanted to make sure that everyone saw the platform, can answer their questions, can get on it. I'll stop talking for a second here. And I know you have probably gotten questions even before this meeting, but does anyone have any questions, reactions? Like, I'm happy to share more insight of how other local leagues are doing it, but you know, this is up to you.
I think there was one question that we maybe missed, that someone wanted to know, can we pick and choose who we add? Where did it go? If you don't want to add all contacts from your phone, do you have to add them one by one?
Yeah, so either you dump them all or you add them one by one. I had a league member who was, like, very particular of what she wanted to add. That was fine. So you don't have to do this, but that's what she did. She actually she made an Excel doc of all her favorite people, and she added the file in. So she didn't have to do it one by one. She just copied and pasted from her Google contacts into Excel. Did she make more work for herself? Yes, but that was on her. So you can do that. More power to you.
Okay.
I forgot how
Corrine?
the order, yeah.
Yeah,
And you call folks.
I will. Corrine and then Rita.
Okay.
Uh-oh, we're struggling. to
Okay,
hear
so add email contacts. Oh, hang on. One moment. See, this is why I want you to have it up. Okay, I'm on the wrong computer, but can you hear me?
We can hear you
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
All right, I had it turned down too low, I think. Okay, so my phone tells me to log in to Outreach Circle in order to add email addresses. And so I went to Outreach Circle and shoot, where is it? Okay. And what it tells me is I have to open up the app. It's wanting me to download the Outreach
So-
Circle app onto my computer. Is that right?
So,
it's
Because I
not-
already have it on my phone.
Karine, you're an admin, so probably all of the we probably need to talk about that in admin training.
Yeah, but I will say,
All right,
Corinne did ask,
okay,
she
okay.
did ask a good
Never mind.
question,
Okay.
but she did ask a good question. Some of you may have already heard of this platform before it was called League in Action. Some of us have been around since Outreach Circle. If you did not want to download League in Action, you are perfectly okay. You're going to see the exact same thing. Like your admins don't have to do anything different. So if you already have Outreach Circle on your phone, and depending on when you signed up, it's going to think like, oh, you already have one. Like, why are you signing in again? Because it's the same technology. Like we just put a sticker on it. So if you have Outreach Circle and you're like, do I want to download League in Action? You don't have to. It's the exact same thing. It's just Outreach Circle, you're going to see other organizations on there. So there's like campaigns, there's other associations, other organizations on there that you can follow. I know like before I did League in Action, like I followed other local campaigns in my area on Outreach Circle. So you don't have to do the over. If you do, you're like, no, I like the League in Action. I like the branding of it. I want to do that. You can just log in with the same information. So if that's what you're seeing, you got some, because it gets confused sometimes. Like what? Like that's insane. Like why are you doing this? But that's why if you do see that confusion, it's because you already had an account, and it's just like trying to tell you to open up Outreach Circle. That's what I think it's going to want you to do.
Okay, Rita, and then Riva. Do you have another question, Riva? Okay, so Rita and then Riva.
Good morning. Yes, I have two questions. First of all, I'm assuming that when we sign up on this in your outreach circle, LWVUS will always be one of your contacts, correct?
No. So if you sign up to be a supporter on like League in Action or Outreach Circle, you're only going to be a supporter to whatever you chose to follow. So, you know, when we first typed in Kansas City and it said join, you're only following that. If you never went to the LWVUS one, you wouldn't see their content. So
Okay.
you get to pick and choose what you want to see. I recommend you following LWVUS so you can see
Of
them
course.
too, but you won't automatically see it.
Okay. And then my second question is, I can see at fundraising time that this site is going to send out hundreds, if not thousands of requests, depending on the
Nope.
number of leagues that you are following.
So again,
Okay.
each admin gets to
So-
decide what content is on there. So if Anne wants to send out 500 requests for fundraising, that's on her. But
Right.
we
But
don't
if you're
do that.
following, well, the US League sent out, I think one of the other leagues was following their request for donations over the holiday time, and they sent out at least 2 or 3 a week to everybody who was a league member. So I can see if every league, if you are following other leagues and the US League on this, you're going to get, unless there's someplace on this app, which I couldn't find, a place that says you can refuse fundraising requests.
So nope, that's
But
not,
I don't think so.
that's not how that works. So that's a good
Yeah.
question though. So League in Action is its own app. So I
Right.
didn't sign up for your newsletter or the fundraising emails. So you know traditionally how you sign up for like the league update and then you get stuck with a whole bunch of other emails as well. This does not talk to that. If Anne wanted to, yes, but each admin gets to decide how many emails they send. So
Right.
no, so
Right.
you would, unless the local league decides to import the folks to their MailChimp, I doubt that. So that doesn't happen because I've never heard a local league do that. So when you sign up to be a League in Action supporter, there's only 2 things that automatically happen ever after this. You get the welcome email. Thank you for joining League in Action. And the second one is when you take your first action, it says, great job. Thank you for doing this. That's the only 2 automatic emails that ever happen. After that, it's up to the local admin or the state admin to decide what emails go out and what push notifications go out. So we at National have 4,000 something supporters on our League in Action. Those supporters may be league members, but most of them are not. They are not added to our fundraising email. They have no idea that we even do fundraising because they never became a member. So if you're worried about that, we keep it separate. Your local league gets to decide that. But that doesn't automatically happen. If you become a League in Action supporter at LWV US, that doesn't mean you get added to our fundraising email because we don't actually import those together.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. Because I think we're all, honestly, I have email fatigue of emails. And I think that's one of the reasons why leagues actually did lean on League in Action, because they send out less emails because we do push notifications. And people are a lot more generous with push notifications compared to email.
All right, Riva?
Well, this is kind of a tag to that question about one by one. If I import all of the contacts from my phone, is there a way to go through and then delete ones I don't want on there?
You
Or do I have
can.
Okay.
You can. So like the fact that you guys saw on my own phone, I added like 520 something email or contacts. There are some people I don't even talk to anymore. I just never click on them. I never click on their name. So like I just scroll through and I pick my people that I know. So like you don't actively have to click on everyone. So like during election season, I will click on more than like 5 because clearly there's a lot more friends that like, especially in your sphere of like, there are some certain people that I will send them the action alert to the ERA because I know that's something they care about. Compared to the like my hairstylist, like I know her, I go once every 2 months, but I will send her an election reminder because I know we're cool like that. So so I get to pick and choose. So
Okay.
that's a good question.
Sandy?
Does this function also as within league communication? So I just tried to send out an addendum for the e-voter regarding adopt a poll. And Ann said, no, we're only going to do this twice a month. So if I decided, and we also have Club Express, so we have committees, the chair is sending out information to the people that are part of that committee. If I wanted to send out a note to all the league members here in Kansas City about adopt a poll for the upcoming elections, is that something that is okay inside the club's communication protocol? And that's really a question for Ann. But is it an alternate means of reaching all the members about a particular thing?
So, and if I can jump in here for this one, because yes, you're right. It really is depending on how your local league wants to use this platform, you can. But so there's 3 buckets that usually fall into what type of work happens on League in Action. And again, there's over 150 something leagues on League in Action. There are some leagues who want to use it for education and like elections, some leagues who want to use it for advocacy, and some leagues who actually use it for membership management. Even though like they have other ways to do that, one of the feedback that I've gotten, like I was just in Kentucky, I talked to this local league, they have 250 members, but only 50 of them are probably on the day-to-day, like doing things with them. So, and then there are leagues who do all 3. So you just have to set it up a little more creatively because there are certain things. So like the folks who use it for all 3, there are certain like the link to sign up for convention, like to register to, for that. That's clearly a member only thing. That voter that you signed up at a voter registration table does not need to know about convention. So there's a groups feature on League in Action if you wanted to set up. So if that was something that was helpful, like I had a local league who was just like, I am tired of sending out the email to tell folks this is the link to Zoom. Because I just need them to know, like, it's just too much work sometimes. So she made up a group for her members that, again, she can just physically add them or the group or supporters can add themselves into that group. And she just assigned them very specific action. So again, that's an internal conversation for you all to decide how you really want to use it. In my experience, there's no right or wrong way to use League in Action. It's just as long as you are maximizing your volunteer capacity, things make it easier for you, and it lines up with the program that you're doing. And I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
Well, I
No,
mean,
nope.
I do think it's going to be an internal sort of a policy approach, because on the one hand, the convenience is great. On the other hand, people are, don't like to get flooded with stuff all the time too. So it's finding that balance.
Mhm. Yeah, your internal, like we call it our e-coms calendar, your internal calendar will have to coordinate. And this is why this tool doesn't, so when the leagues first started with League in Action, it was always like one committee who came from the organization, like from the local league. And I'm like, great, but you do know your like advocacy team should know this. Your like voter services committee, your membership committee should know about this. So as long as like there's internal communication, you should be fine in terms of, again, I get to talk to leagues weekly, sometimes daily about this. And as long as they're talking and coordinating and not flooding emails, because sometimes the same way that you don't always get like Facebook emails because like you just open Facebook on your own, like that's eventually what this will be to certain people. Like I manage the admin side for LWVUS, and I choose to send out emails very rarely. And then I sometimes get feedback that I should send out more emails to know that folks are on there, like there's more actions on there. So it really is like however you prefer.
Can you talk about a little bit though, but emails are just one way to communicate there. So there are also like what we did today.
Oh, see,
So-
so this is actually, yes, thank you, Ann. So right now, with the past 5 minutes, we've been talking about the admin strategy of how to engage supporters. That's, that's where the admins and leadership would decide the strategy of like, how do you want to keep folks reminding that there is something on League in Action. But in terms of action as a supporter, I can always send out emails to my friends if I wanted to. So if that action is live right now, again, I'm doing that personal outreach as a supporter too. So those are on there. You're not going to dictate how many times I reach out to my friend by text or social or stuff like that. So as a supporter, I get to pick and choose when I want to have these conversations with my friends and family.
And do those actions stay live indefinitely?
No. So again, this is where the admins get to decide which actions are on there, which ones I turn off. So obviously during election season, you're probably gonna have a lot of election related content. It should reflect of what you're doing. So I have leagues right now who are, even though like their primary is still, kind of far away, or their primary already passed, they're doing coworker recruitment. There are, they're recruiting for volunteers to be election observers. Like that's what they're doing on there, because that's what they're actively doing in their it should reflect what you're already prioritizing. So Kentucky just had their lobby day. It was a lot of advocacy. Their session is over April 15th. So in the coming days, especially as the session wraps up, it's going to be a lot of action alerts and calling their state legislator. They have some pretty tough bills right now, and they know that they need to ensure that their supporters, not just their members, but everyone in the community, is contacting X representative on these things. So you get to decide and figure out that creativity. And that's why we have those biweekly admin trainings, to help you craft out that strategy. Because in my experience, and again, this is more nitty gritty, some of y'all will never look at this. You guys would just be supporters, and that's awesome. Your admins get to decide the strategy and the content that you're going to interact with. And then we can like, whoever you within that group, you can like join, and we can figure it out and flush that out.
Yeah. And just to make clear, as a supporter, I'm not creating any action. I'm just passing it along.
Yeah.
And I
again,
can edit it just a little bit to make it personal. So there is a little vulnerability there where I could insert disinformation if I wanted to. But because this is relational organizing, it's people who are, it starts with us, and then it goes to people we know and trust, and then it goes to people they know and trust, and then it goes
yeah.
to people they know and trust. And so there's a little bit of safety in that built in. Am I right about all that?
Yes. So also remember, some actions are not always going to be relational. Some of them are just going to be the action alert, or just things that you just need to know. So for example, the League of Women Voters in Montana, all their actions were always advocacy related because they have a short legislative session. We have this every 2 years. So their members literally signed up to be on League in Action because they're like, the volunteers couldn't keep up with the capacity of newsletters. They would have to go out because things would change so often. Like the volunteers were just burning out on that end. So they still wanted to kind of follow the session and have an easy way to hey, this representative is the reason why this bill hasn't hit committee or has gotten out of committee. We need to call him or call her to tell them to push it out of committee. This is something we need to be voted on. Again, depending how your admin sets up the content, you get to interact with it. So as league members, yes, the bread and butter of it, we want to be the trusted messengers, talk to our friends and family, get more folks involved. But sometimes you as a league member, you're like, what's happening in the session today? What is the newest thing? Like, I'm in Texas. I feel like every single time I think we got a hold of things, there's something brand new we have to keep an eye on, and we're like, okay, there we go again. And that's why we're here. So some leagues just use this to make sure their members do not feel like they're left out from it. Because that's also the key to membership retention, is that I have to know and feel like we are actively working on this, not the voter services committee, not the advocacy committee. We are all part of this. I know what's going on, and I shouldn't have to join 30 meetings to get a gist of what's going on in our community. So that, again, some leagues are really trying to make this easier for folks, and it shouldn't be a full-time job to just figure out what's going on.
I agree. Okay, any last questions before we thank Luana for all of her help? And thank you so much. I know you have other things to do. It's a Saturday, so even though our meeting's not quite over, I suspect I have some members who want to make some announcements. I think we're gonna say thank you so much. I'm so happy we have 30-some people who've already signed up, and you'll start seeing posts in a couple of weeks. We have our admin team that's going to come together and figure this out and work with Luana and go to the training so that we'll learn more. So it won't happen immediately, but we'll get it up and running within the month. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And the Super Bowl's tomorrow, so I know that's y'all's home team. So good luck to y'all.
I know. Thank you. I think you're a fan, right? Because you're closer to us than San Francisco.
I am a fan. So yeah, that's what after this I'm gonna go do errands for the Super Bowl. I need to make appetizers. So I hope you all have fun tomorrow too.
Thank you very much.
I will let y'all go. Thank you so much for inviting me to your space. I always think it's so much fun to get to do this with leagues. But thank you so much, Anne, for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you very much. It was great.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
so we still have a few minutes left of our meeting. And so I know that Sandy has something that he would like to, I'm kind of springing this on you, but I assume that you would be happy to talk about poll work, Sandy?
Sure. Well, it's coming up on us, and this is a little election, as you guys know. It's beyond the stadium tax question. I'm not sure what else the ballot has. The election board hasn't really finalized the ballot yet. But as always, we're looking for members to be poll workers, and then hopefully, if they can, contribute their pay on poll worker day to the league. If you're not already signed up with Kansas City Election Board, then you need to get that done, and all of that's on Adopt a Poll on the website under volunteers, under elections rather tab. So just encourage everybody to take a look at that, but definitely keep in mind August and obviously November for this. We're going to need a lot of help. I'll say that the election board, when I talked to Toby Chambers, who's the judge supervisor, that they need a lot of Republican representatives. Now, I wouldn't say this in print, but doesn't matter what party you're part of. You can say, I'm a Republican. All they need is pairs of people, both parties, working ballot judges, poll pads, and the like. So every election is staffed with poll workers where there's an even split between Democrats and Republicans. That's just part of their way of going about business, which is good, but you don't have to be a registered Republican to act as a Republican at the polls as a worker. So anyway, it's a little quick for this election on the 2nd. There's still time if you wanted to get your name in and get to training. They start training on the 29th. So go to elections on the website and pull down that and get to adopt a poll. All the links are there.
All right, thank you, Sandy. Rita, and then Terry.
I just want to let everybody know, we just heard from somebody from the US League about some of the changes, one of the changes that are happening with the league throughout the country. Next month's presentation for membership will be on the changes that the US League is making that are going to affect local leagues. So if you're interested in seeing what's changing and coming down the pike in other areas, not just for social media apps, I just would encourage everybody to attend. I don't think it's going to be in person. I think it's going to be a Zoom meeting. So I find it very interesting what's happening, and I think it's going to affect everybody around the country who is a league member.
No teasers.
So I would encourage everybody to attend that.
No teaser, Rita.
Well, it's gonna affect us financially tremendously. So I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges to this, but I see others that will be coming down the pike as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Terry?
Yeah, I had a question for Sandy. Sandy, is that only for KCEB and you have to be living within the Kansas City
Registered voter in Missouri.
in Missouri? Okay.
Yep. And yes, this is only what I'm representing is only for KCEB. I don't think any of the other counties have Adopt-A-Poll, although we are looking into doing that. And I'm asking Toby at the election board if he will act as a resource for Platte County or whomever might want to use this method to attract poll workers and then allow donations back to organizations.
And do you have any idea what they do with somebody who declares as an independent?
Well, you go in and wear the hat that they need.
Okay.
In other words, you're not changing your affiliations. You're not changing who you're aligned with. You're simply agreeing to be part of what turns out to be a bipartisan poll. So the poll worker split is evenly done.
Okay.
And he said, we get 10 Democrats for every Republican. Well, of course, we're in Kansas City. So,
Can you take poll workers that live in a different board of election?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
All you
I
have to
didn't
do
know
is
that.
be a registered voter in Missouri.
I did not know that. I wanted to double check. Okay, Rita, and then Melody. Oh, you're on mute.
One more comment on that topic. There are two ways to support. You can become a poll worker and donate your check that you would receive that day, or you can support poll workers on our website by just making a donation in their honor. So either way, there are two ways to support poll workers. If you can't be a poll worker, please feel free to go onto our website and make a donation in the name of all the poll workers who do sacrifice their morning sleep to get up and get there by 6 a.m. or 5:30 in order to do this.
At the butt crack of dawn, I say, knowing I'm going to be forever recorded saying that.
Exactly.
Melody?
Yes, Sandy, could you give me that website where I could register as a poll worker, please?
It's on the league's website.
Okay.
Under the elections tab, and just pull that down, and there's an Adopt-A-Poll is the last one on the menu pull down, and in that has the links to the various forms that you can sign up. So I would say you need to get that in pretty quick. And you can send it to me as a scan. I'll come get it from you, whichever. But all the information is there on the website.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Well, I have one. I would like to encourage everyone to go on to, since we had our phones out today, I want to encourage everyone to go out, oh, be quiet, and download or follow rather the Missouri State Legislative Action Podcast. So if wherever you get your podcasts, the front cover image looks like this. We only have about 5 people listening. Those of you who were listening to us, listening to Talk Vote, that's a different feed. So you have to go and actually find the Missouri State Legislative Action feed wherever you get your podcasts. We have about a 10-minute podcast once a week that tells you what's coming up in the next week of the legislative session. And I am going to pull up the show notes for an episode so I can show you that. Well, I'm not going to do a very good job of showing you, but if you pull up the show notes, yep, I give up. It looks very much like our email does, our call to action email, so that you can just, from your phone while you're listening, you can click on the link that will take you to submit testimony or to to look up your representative's phone number or whatever. And so you can do that right from the podcast as you're listening. And the question was, what is it called again? It is the Missouri, it's the LWV Missouri Legislative Update. So if you search for that, you should be able to find it. And it's got this black and white, or black and red and white logo and blue that looks like that. It's another member named Rachel. She and I do this podcast. We are actually going to approach some college students who are part of the PAUSE program in Springfield, because this legislative effort is statewide. So we're actually gonna, I'm probably saying this too soon, but we're gonna approach some people to replace us. So it won't be us long-term, but perhaps for the rest of the season. And yes, I will put that in the chat. Oh, thank you, Jimmy. Put that in the chat. So anyway, follow us. We missed last week. We're so sorry. We'll have an apology this week. We actually recorded it, and then we had technical difficulties, and so it got corrupted. We didn't get to put it up, but we will put it up. That's the only week we have met in 3 years of doing this podcast. Yep, Elizabeth.
I just put in LWV Missouri and got nothing, no results. So I don't know what the problem is. Did anybody else have success?
I had success with the same thing. Maybe you misspelled it.
Yeah, I would put in LWVMO
MO?
first. Yes.
I got it.
I put in the whole thing, Missouri, the LWV, Missouri
And it should come up.
Legislative Update. I put in that.
And I put podcast and it pops
Okay.
right up.
Yeah,
Okay,
podcast.
it's
yeah.
LWVMO,
Ah,
Missouri.
okay.
And it might actually pop up different ways depending on how you get your podcasts. Because
Right.
if you're on Apple, you'll get it
Yeah.
one way. If you're on Google, you'll get it another. If you're looking at the website, because you can listen to it online. It's on
Yeah.
several. It's on Spotify. It's on several platforms. So okay, thank you for that. Any other questions or comments or announcements?
This is Carla. I just had a question regarding whether there was a QR code to give people if they need to update their voter registration, or where do they go? For instance, say they got married, their name changed, or
Mhm.
they moved.
There is a QR code on the Vote 411 cards. And so they can go to Vote 411 and it's a pass through. It actually uses Rock the Vote as the actual software that league contracts with. So it goes through a couple of steps, but then they do eventually get to the Secretary of State's website where they can update. I will say Missouri isn't the greatest. It's not the most user-friendly for registering or updating online, and there's not a lot we can do about that, but
That's their only option at this point.
yep. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, yeah. For online, that is, yeah. Yep.
Right,
Terry?
so if we could actually give them one of our voter registration cards to update as well.
We can, absolutely. Yeah, if we're out registering voters, yes, the voter registration postcards can be used to update. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi,
Terry?
Ann, it's Terry, and I just wanted to highlight upcoming March events. And let people know, first of all, the March 11th Sunshine Law Educational Event is very exciting, and I don't know if, is Nancy Shaver here?
I don't
If
think
Nancy
so.
isn't, on the website, if you're able to share, and you can register to attend on March 11th, either in person at the Shook, Hardy and Bacon building, which is right next to Crown Center, or you can do via Zoom. And so we're just finalizing all of this and the marketing, so that's going to go out again. And I need to send it to the State League to put in their note, but we are having a representative from the Attorney General's office, as well as Jean Manicki and I'm going to blank on the guy's name, 2 First Amendment lawyers, and it's going to be moderated by Dave Margulies. So it should be an exciting event, and Nancy Shaver and Tommy Sexton have been working really hard on that. And within the week, we will have all of our candidate forums on our consolidated candidate and issues calendar, which you can get on the league website. But currently we are in the process of inviting candidates from Liberty School Board, the following school boards: Liberty, Lee Summit, Hickman Mills, Center, Independence, and North Kansas City. And we'll also be doing the Independent City Council race for the April 2nd election. So I'm hoping, Ann, that we can work with you, hopefully, to get those links out to League in Action.
Did you not include Park Hill School District for a reason?
Usually, and I have not heard back from Marcus Flores, but Marcus Flores at the Parkville Living Center usually does that candidate forum. So,
Okay.
And he live streams that, and then we will put that forum on our calendar for people to find, and we will put the link to the forum video on our CCIC page. So if you go to lwv.org/CCIC, you'll hop onto that page, which has the calendar, and as things are recorded, Pat puts up the recording links. So that's my pitch.
Okay, thank you. I also want to mention that we have another election consensus meeting, election admin study consensus meeting, and it's via Zoom on Tuesday, the 13th at 7 o'clock. And then we will be meeting to vote on we have a special meeting on Saturday, March 2nd at 10 o'clock. And that is the election admin special meeting. And that's where we will actually vote on those new positions. This is several months earlier than we normally vote to adopt new positions. And we're doing that because we want to be able to advocate before the end of the legislative session. The legislative session in Missouri ends in May, and we usually vote in our new positions in late April. Well, actually, prior to now, we've done it in May or in the month of May. And this year we'll actually be meeting late April, but not in enough time to really advocate. So be sure that you put that on your calendar too, please. If you haven't been to one of the consensus question meetings, please go. They're really interesting. and valuable. And they're a little bit smaller group and there's a lot of participation. And then please put March 2nd on your calendar as well, Saturday at 10 o'clock. And I don't have in my book where that is, so we'll have to look on the website to find out where that is. All right. Well, we have a little bit shorter meeting than usual today. I know sometimes I've been chastised for not providing enough content, but this content seemed fairly rich, so I think we're okay ending the meeting a little early. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you so much for getting up on the app. I'm really happy. It's thrilling to see it go from 8 to 30 some, and it'll take us a little while, like I said, to get our training in as admins, but we'll get content up for you pretty darn soon. All right, thank you so much, and everybody have a wonderful rest of your morning and afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.